And now something a little bit different. These are experimental mud bogging machines modified by William Cunningham of Kenner, Louisiana. They're three-wheelers. Unfortunately, there are still some bugs to be worked out. A few problems. Track 1, Gerald Kuhn Colopi on Delirious. That's a Yamaha three-wheeler with a small bike tire in front, 2 scoop tires in the rear. Track 2, the creator's grandson, Billy Bishop, on the Honda Busting Loose. That's the Yamaha, I believe.
Now, his motor continues to run, it looks like, but no motion forward. Maybe he lost a chain.
He's got wheelie bars extending off the back. Look at this. Trying to keep the front wheel on the ground, but he does not stay on the throttle.
We have some radical throttle and clutching going on there.
Doing an impersonation of Doug DeMocus, the Wheelie King, but not wanting to look like that. Gets through the mud. That's the Yamaha there. Okay, that's the Yamaha. The other is the Honda. They're painted a little differently, folks. There's another look. Look at him. Front wheel staying down, but he's slipping and sliding through the mud and the muck. Looks back behind. Yep, they're still turning. Yep, they just stopped. Experimental three-wheelers. Coming up, the world's only jet-powered funny car taking on a AA fuel dragster. This is going to be wild. Welcome back to the U.S. Hot Rod Triple Crown of Motorsports, brought to you in part by Ford, America's best-built truck. And coming up now, one of the most bizarre events in pulling. This is a top fuel dragster. It's built to pull. Bushmaster. First up, he'll be going against Tim Arfons in Starfire, a top fuel dragster versus a turbo engine funny car. Earlier, Margo and I visited with the drivers.
You see them on drag strips all across the country, but on a dirt track at a truck pull, top fuel dragster driver Mike Hollingsworth driving the Bushmaster. It looks like a dragster on the outside, but is it a top fuel car on the inside?
It's close. The big difference between us and Top Fuel is the heavier rear end. Top Fuel weighs about 1,800 pounds. We weigh 6,000 pounds. Our frame is built exactly the same, except we use heavier metal, and our steering is set up a little bit stronger than Top Fuel boys are.
Now, these tires don't look like Top Fuel tires to me, Mike.
Now, we use the Dick C-Peck puller tires, which are made strictly for tractor pulling to get the traction we need to pull the sled. And we've been using those for years, but the slicks just won't do the job for us.
This car has got to be a kick to drive. What does it feel like?
It's a lot of fun. It doesn't have the speed of drag racing. It has the feel of the power trying to pull a 60,000-pound sled that doesn't want to move. So we get the same sensation as a drag racer would.
Now, you're running up against a turbine motor. It's got a lot more horsepower than you. Can you beat him?
Oh, yeah, I believe I can. I believe I can outdrive him. It's going to be a driver's track tonight. It's going to take a little bit of common sense on when to get on the motor and when not to, and I'm just going to outdrive him.
Well, we're going to see if driving finesse wins this one tonight.
The only jet-powered pulling funny car in the world is called Starfire. It is owned and driven by Turbo Tim Arfons. Tell us about this machine. What about the engine?
Well, it's powered by a General Electric T-58 helicopter engine. It's a gas turbine. Produces 1,500 horsepower at 30,000 RPM, and it's a one-of-a-kind power plant.
How does this compare to what you'll be going up against tonight, the Bushwhacker, as far as power?
Power is comparable. My major disadvantage is going to be in the wheelbase. He's got a lot longer wheelbase, therefore he can put more weight on the rear axle.
Now, the first time you went up against Bushwhacker, he broke.
Right, we ran against him in Springfield, Missouri, and he broke right off the line. It wasn't a true test.
Interesting confrontation, because you've got a top fuel dragster powered by a monster V8 engine, blowing and everything, and you're going up against a jet-powered funny car. That's an interesting confrontation.
It will be interesting. I almost can guarantee I'm going to win now.
What's the toughest part about driving a jet-powered funny car?
Getting it out of the hole. The first 50 feet of the track, getting everything accelerating, especially the track conditions we're going to have here tonight. It's going to be a little slick, so it's going to be a little bit more of a driver's game to get moving.
But the wheels don't turn, do they? I mean, it's a jet, right?
No, it's wheel-driven. It's a turbine.
Okay. So it is wheel-driven.
Right. Everything's going to the rear wheels, and the only thing coming out is the fire out the roof.
And that's kind of an awesome thing to see.
Well, that's the part that really turns the crowd on.
But the Starfire will win tonight, you feel?
I sure hope so.
Well, we'll find out as a jet-powered funny car takes on a top fuel dragster tonight. And here we go, ready with the Bushmaster, lining up on the line, going for a full pull, which is 200 feet. Margo, explain exactly how that works.
The pull is measured from the front of the sled, where the sled stops in regards to the white line we'll see at the end of the track. They have to get the sled up to that white line to be measured a full pull.
Right behind the driver's seat, you can just barely see them there, are the heavy steel plates that they add to add weight depending on the track surface, the track condition. All right, we're set to go. The Bushmaster. Off the line. Down that track, trying to keep the front wheels up in the air, or down, rather, from going up in the air. And Margo, that could be a problem, but he can still steer with the rear wheels.
But look at all the roots his rear tires are throwing up. He's really got too much wheel spin there, and he digs in.
That's
not
the problem.
driving.
Won't go any further. Once he starts spinning, it is not a full pull for the Bushmaster. The track is 200 feet long, and Mike is not too happy about that. Not happy at all. Another look at it in slow motion. Completely under control. No problems getting off the line. Now the front wheels start lifting up, but he can adjust through the rear wheels. He can actually drive through the rear wheels, and now the spin begins, Margo.
But you can see that really he lost traction early in the game. I think he came on the throttle a little too early and started too much wheel spin. Not good when you're trying to get that 200 feet.
Boy, it's really important. There's the measurement right there, and it is not a full pull.
They're measuring from that pile of dirt that the sled pushed up to the line.
Mike Hollingsworth goes over, signs a few autographs. Very popular young man with the crowd, but it's not to be, at least not a full pull. We'll see if Tim Arfons and Starfire can do any better.
And here's the news from the track crew. It's 177 feet, 8 inches.
So just a little less than 23 feet less of a full pull. And this is Starfire. And this guy has got to be the crowd favorite, Tim Arfons. The Arfons family out of Akron, Ohio. The safety features of the U.S. Hot Rod Association. Interesting points about this. They've got to use 2 hooks in case one breaks. And they're hooking it up right now to the back of the Starfire.
And we're talking boat anchor hooks.
You could anchor the Enterprise with those hooks, let me tell you. Starfire, a helicopter turbine-powered funny car. Nobody knows more about turbines and jet engines than the Arfons family.
Now that's an interesting point right there, the dead man switch.
That's a kill switch that's being connected, and if it breaks or pulls off, then it kills the engine, correct?
That's right. Immediately kills the motor should the car get disconnected from the sled.
The whole family is into motorsports, the Arfons family. Art Arfons, you might remember him. He held the world land speed record twice and is still racing jet dragsters, but indoors now in the U.S. Hot Rod Association, pulling on the circuit. His sister Dusty is the only woman to compete in the 7,200-pound dragster tractor pulling class, and she is a fox. Very attractive young lady. They race for the U.S. Hot Rod Association. Now, Arfons has a horsepower advantage. The extended... Whoa, there it is. That's the fire and belch of fire out of the top, and the crowd loves it. The helicopter turbine. Whoa! They love that. And here goes Starfire. The mark to beat, 177.8. Look at it. He comes right off the line. The front wheel comes up, and the wheels don't spin, Margo. He's on the gas.
You could see from the beginning of that pull that he dug in, got great traction from the very beginning, and the crowd is going wild.
The hottest thing on the track. Look at the flames belch out of the top of that funny car. Starfire. The crowd absolutely loves it here. He almost went out of bounds and was disqualified. He came within a couple of feet of the white line border there. There's Tim Arfons, looks up at us. A beautiful run for young Mr. Arfons. He's happy about that. He said, I will not be beat tonight. And that's exactly what happened. He beat the dragster. Here we go. Let's look at it in slow motion. The fire coming up, that's worth the price of admission, folks, right there. Comes off the line. Look at that. About 25 feet in the air. Unreal. Boy, he is a crowd pleaser. There's a slow motion look. The front wheels comes up, but he just hunkers on down and blasts down the line. Now getting a little bit off sideways. A full run for Starfire as he moves almost over to that boundary line. No problems at all, and Arfons goes through it a little bit further. A beautiful show by Tim Arfons. He came, he saw, and he conquered. Arfons notches another victory over the Bushmaster. And coming up, the ultimate grudge match. It's going to continue as Bigfoot and Bearfoot battle to the finish.